Hello everyone, Mark here. Welcome back to my garage. So, as you will remember from the last part of this series, if you've watched it, I worked on this bracket, which is the lay shaft for the power feed for the table on the milling machine. Now, if you will remember, you will notice that the hole is not central. Don't know if that's focusing. I think that's focusing. So you'll see the hole is not central on the boss. Now that made me rather cross. Boss cross, lol. Anyway, I thought I could live with it, but I have a mild touch of, well, more than a mild. I have a significant case of OCD. And no, that won't do. And I've spoken to PM Research, the sponsors of this series, and I could get a replacement casting, but it would cost a fortune because I would have to not only pay for the casting, which is fair enough, I'm buying a new thing, but then the postage on top from the USA to the United Kingdom, complete with import duties, just for a small piece of thing like that makes it prohibitive. So the only way I'm going to get away with not having to pay that is to try and fix this issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to bore this hole, both holes, out to a larger diameter, basically to the edge of the hole off-centeredness this time, which I believe I worked out is 4 mil. Yeah, I know I'm mixing imperial and metric, I don't care, I do that all the time. Go ahead and cringe away, American viewers. I like to mix my measurements. Anyway, I sidetracked there. What I'm then going to do is put a brass bushing in the hole instead, that's centralised, to keep the shaft perfectly on centre. Not to mention then, it'll be a lot more hard wearing in the fact that it'll be inside a shaft inside a brass bushing rather than inside a aluminium one. So there's that. So it has its benefits as well to having a bushing in there, so that's the main thing. So anyway, let's bring you into the bench down here and a bit more light, and I will show you exactly how I'm intending to make this better. Righto, so here we are with the actual part. Now, the rest of this casting I'm really happy with how it turned out and how I was able to machine it in general. Thank you for all the comments on the video for this, by the way, pointing out various flaws that I didn't catch while actually doing it. And yes, you are all totally correct. Looking back at the footage, this flexed like crazy while doing the drilling and milling. So I definitely need to think of a different way of fixing it for this. So anyway, as I was saying, what I want to do is bore this hole out. So yes, as you can see, it's terribly off centre. They are parallel. They are, I mean, completely straight through. So there is that bonus, is that at least it did drill them completely straight through. They are in line. But I just can't be dealing with the angle of it. And it would also mean that once this is bolted to the column, and this is got the actual belts driving in it and the shaft coming through out of it, the angle of the shaft could then prove to be an issue for the universal joints that come out the back here, this way, to connect to the actual crossfeed mechanism. So having this come out parallel would definitely be the first way to go. Now I had a go at doing this already off camera, and this is the result. Damn thing won't focus. I drilled this hole down the centre and turned this. Now I don't know if you can see, but that has got a significant bend in it. As I was drilling it, the drill bit I have used was a piece of dog shit, and it just filled up with chips, went blunt, and then grabbed and just bent the part completely. Bear in mind I had a steady rest as well, supporting this end. So I had this in the chuck, and then I had a steady rest right on the end supporting it, and it managed to bend it out of the steady rest. That's how much it grabbed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lop this end off. This may come in useful for something as a wash, making some thin washes out of spaces or something, I don't know. But what I need to do then is turn this end down back to this 4mm here. But before I do that, I'm going to drill the hole first this time. That was my big mistake, was order operations. I did it completely backwards. I need to make sure I drill the hole first, where it's got as much supported material around it, before I then go ahead and lop off, and before I go ahead and machine down the outside diameter. So first step is I'm going to use a parting tool to slice this off, because it'll give me a nice controlled cut. So let's get over to the lathe and pop it in. It's going to be the little Emco mini lathe again, because it's a very small piece, and also the lighting fixture that's above my Myford lathe has decided to spontaneously combust. So yeah, I can't get any light over at the big Myford right now, so it wouldn't be a very good video for you guys, just me chatting away in the dark. So let's move over to the little mini lathe and let's get this set up in the chuck. Here we are. I'm thankful that this actually fits all the way up inside the bore of this very, very small lathe. So that's always a nice little bonus. Helps if you turn the jaws the right way as well, you idiot. Before I do this, I'm just going to bring it in as tight as I dare. About there. Just lock that in. There we go, that's nice and tight. Put those Tommy bars away so I don't lose them and they don't go flying off into eternity by accident. So, first things first, I'm going to swap out this tool here for a parting off tool, which is actually a homemade parting off tool. It's actually a grooving tool that I modified to put a nice right angle on it and a nice honed edge as well on it. Didn't focus for you guys, my apologies. So it's got a nice edge on that. Nice right angle on the end as well. So let's put this tool in. Start off by loosening off these here. At some point in the future I may get one of the quick change tool posts for this, but it's not high up in my list of priorities right now. Let's get that in there. Make sure I've got plenty of meat to grab onto. Make sure that's in. I've already made sure my tool post is completely square, using a square, lol, go figure. And before I turn anything on, let's wind the carriage in and bring my cross slide in and see if I'm going to foul on anything. That's rule 1 of doing machining. You want to make sure you're not actually going to crash the machine. So yeah, that's about as close as I can get it. Now you can see the bend in that now as that spins. So you can see what happened with that. So you can see why that's not usable anymore. So let's put that there. In fact, I am going to be a little bit conservative. I'm going to back it off ever so slightly further than that because I'd rather not risk it. I don't want to crash this machine again. It wouldn't be the first time. Let's lock off the carriage. Don't want that to move at all. Yep, still clear, nice and clear, that's good. Okay. I have, I don't know if you guys saw, but if this is your first time, I have a new motor on this machine, which is rather nice. So, it's variable speed, so it'll start off at its slowest speed. So you can definitely see the run out on that now. That's some significant wobble on that, so... yeah, it's got the weeble wobbles, that. Alright, let's speed this up a bit. Let's try taking a cut. Beautiful. That parted that off incredibly well, considering that's the first time I've cut my own parting tool And that's the first time I've actually done parting on this machine. I'm quite proud of that. I'm pleased, well chuffed, and if I'm not mistaken I can reach the bit that came off, maybe. Don't roll under the machine. Oh well, that's gone forever. Well, it's gone until I've at least cleaned out the ways at some point. So there we go. Right, next step now is I'm just going to come in and just face this end down so we've got a nice square end on the thing. Okay, so I've got the tool swapped out now. Just got my standard knife tool in there. It's brazed carbide. I love to use this tool. It came with this machine when I got it several years ago. It's a tool that's never failed me yet, and I don't intend it on failing me soon. So I've just kicked the tool post round slightly, so it just makes it a little bit easier for it to do its actual facing cut. I've found that on this machine, kicking this tool post round to a sort of like 45-ish degree angle does help when you're doing facing cuts. So let's back this out a bit. Let's turn her on. Let's speed her up a bit. Let's bring her in. Let's touch off. There we go. Feed her in a little bit more. And wind in. There we go. Feed her back in. It's a nice finish on that. Nice and smooth. It's what I like. It's what I like to see. Wind that back out. I really need to dismantle this cross slide again. It's full of crap in the screw. Not to mention as well then I can think about making a cover, a little soft drape cover here to cover this screw up because it's annoying. Right, next step now is to, I'm going to do the drilling operation, which is the next operation. And I'm going to do it with it all choked up nicely in here like this. So let's get myself a centre drill and get my tools over here and I'll bring you back. So, centre drill and drill bit have been acquired. This time it is a different drill bit. I since have acquired a set of numbered drill bits, which is rather tasty. So let's stick my centre drill in the chuck. Actually put it in the centre, that might help. Let's lock that down. You can't see it at the moment, it's just outside of frame, but it is there, honestly. See? There it is. Let's bring that in. Lock that down. Let's give this a little whirl, shall we? There we go. Wonderful. Slide that back out of the way. Let's whip the centre drill out. Put it away because put it away back in its spot because I like to look after my centre drills with them being actual dormer, proper job. I don't want to risk them getting lost or damaged before their time. One drill bit. This is a number 31, I do believe. You definitely won't be able to read it, but oh, you might be able to. 31 right there. SKF and Dormer are the brand. So Thank you to Correct Spanner, a name that's becoming very famous on this channel, for the bits, the drill bits. Let's bring this in. Lock that down. And let's give it a whirl, shall we? That's drilling well. I want to make sure I've got plenty to work with depth-wise. Let's see how deep that went, shall we? So that went in up to there. Oh, that's plenty deep enough for what I need. Oh, that's beautiful. That drilled a nice, beautiful hole straight down the middle of that. Well, that makes me happy. Oh, what a difference a decent set of bloody drill bits make. And the ones that are actually bloody sharpened as well, properly ground. It fared beautifully. Nothing wrong with the grind on that. Wish my phone would focus a bit closer. Beautiful grind on that still. Wonderful. Truly wonderful. So, next step now, I need to pull this out and turn the outside down to 4mm. So, let's do this properly. I think what I might do is pull it out, support it in the on a centre, and put it in a 4-jaw chuck so I can actually dial it in so that that central boss is running true. So that would be a nice way of doing it, because sadly I don't have any gauge pins, so I can't do the technique where you put a gauge pin in the hole, drag it out, and then indicate on the gauge pin. So that's a sad sign. I can't do that, sadly. But I can at least use a 4-jaw to get the OD as close as I can, which hopefully will put it on centre. If not, it's not going to be that far out, which is fine. So let's get this out of here. There we go. So look at the hole. It's a nice central hole, that. I'm pleased with that. Proud as punch. Proud as punch with that. Wonderful. Right, let's get this ear chuck off, which is nice and simple to do on here, just as it is on a Myford, because it is a threaded on. There we go, just break it free. Swing that round. Where is the 4-jaw? Where did I put it? Oh, I remember. It's in the box just here. Let me get that out. Oopsie daisy. There it is. 1 4-jaw chuck. Very nice indeed. Clean out the, make sure the register's nice and clean, which it is. Wind this back off. Without dropping it, of course. Don't want to drop it on the bloody ways. That would be about my luck, though, to completely total this lathe when I've only just finished getting it sorted and nice and working. Certainly be my luck in life, that. Pop that down over there. Bring in the 4-jaw. actually a really nice 4-jaw, this. Doesn't need to be locked in mega tight, so I'll just, because it'll tighten itself up, just like that a little bit. There we go. So before you all start going, you're going to break your chuck key off, you're going to strip the thread. No, that was the lightest touch I could do. It's just to make sure it's nipped up. Because it's a threaded chuck, as you're spinning it, and I'm not doing wrong way round spinning, there's no risk of it unthreading. It's just going to tighten itself anyway. So don't get your knickers in a twist, gals. Or guys, if you're wearing knickers. I'm not one to judge about your preferences. Right, let's back my carriage up. Tidy up a bit here first as well. I've got bloody chuck keys and set squares and Allen keys all over the shop. Jeez, I'm an untidy bastard, me. Alright, let's wind this back. Get this back out of the way. So yeah, if any of you ever wondered, that's how you do a chuck change on a little mini Emco. If you're looking at buying one, that's how they work. I would definitely recommend, if you are looking to buy one of these lathes, you look to see if you can get one that's either had a motor replacement and that also comes with a 4-jaw chuck. Because yes, you can buy these aftermarket, but they are quite expensive on eBay to get these chucks. So I'd recommend you look to see if you can get one with the lathe you're getting. So, got it in, nice and indicated. Yes, it's stuck out a fair way, but I want to make sure I can get it in. And as you can see, sadly, this bar has a motherfucking bend in it. So I'm a little cross. Hopefully, there's enough material on here that I'm taking off to get rid of this bend. If not, I've just wasted a load of work once again and I'll be bloody pissed. So, let's speed this up. And let's touch her off. There's the touch off. Let's feed her in. That much. And engage the power feed. That's cutting nicely, that. Well, that's already got the weeble wobble out of it, so it must have just been in the outer casing. That's nice to see. Let's take the same cut again. Let's truck on through. Again, I'm trying to get this OD 4mm. Wind it back a bit, and that is a nice cut on there. Beautiful. Let me grab my micrometer and see what we're at so far, so I know how much more I've got to go. This is a beautiful star up number 436. This silky smooth. This. Let's see if I can get this in here. There we go. So we're currently at 5.6 no, 5.8. We're currently at 6.8 millimeters. So let's, I'm just going to take it, because I've got a lot of stick out, I'm just going to take it nice and slow. So this, from now on, it's just going to be a bit of sped up footage of me trying to cut this down to size. Okay, I've just mic'd it, and it comes out to 5mm right now exactly. So, from what I can tell, the graduations on this hand dial, it's a 1mm is one rotation. So I am going to do it in a couple of passes, obviously. And before I get to the final pass, I'll check to make sure that I do actually need to go that amount. So let's give this a whirl. So, it turns out the graduations on this dial mean sweet fuck all into relation as to how the carriage actually moves. So, that is now undersized, which is amazing. I'm super happy not. So, I've got a choice. I can either live with it and just make the hole slightly smaller, which is what I'm leaning towards, or I have to scrap it and make it again, once again. So, because I'm a lazy bastard and I can't be bothered to remake the damn thing yet again, I'm going to call it good at that. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to make it, and then try and get the hole to the same size. The size of this currently is 3.85. So I don't understand what on earth happened with the dial down here as to what the why the dial doesn't make any sense whatsoever. When you consider it's according to the increments on the dial, each rotation is supposed to be 1mm. However, I've done. It turns out it's been more like 1.5mm, which makes no sense. So. Whatever. You win some, you lose some. This will be fine. Considering it's my first ever mini kit of doing machining of any minuscule size stuff, this is good enough. This is certainly good enough. So, now that's like that, it's time to part it off to length. The individual bits off to length. So I grabbed the actual casting. I need a piece, 2 pieces, that size. So let me grab my ye olde calipers. Give those a check. So that happens to be 5mm exactly. And this side, 5.5. They don't have to be identical. So I'm going to make a start with the 5mm one first. So let me grab my little ruler. Let me get the catch rod back out of the way again. Grab my little ruler. In fact, let me take the tailstock off for a minute so I can see what I'm doing. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing too. first things first, let's get this lined up on the end. Doing the old Joe Pye technique with the end of something flat to be able to feel when you're at the edge, which is there. So I need to go in 5mm. Which is that far there. Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm going to make it slightly shorter actually. I'm going to make it... You guys can't see this because of the light, I'm sorry. But it's quite tricky to see myself. So that would be 5. That would be 4. Yeah. Which would then give me plenty of room for another 4. So I'm going to do 2 4s, which should be there quite nicely. Yep. Right there. Lock off the carriage. Like so. Put the ruler back in my pocket, I don't want to lose it. Put the tailstock back on so I can put my catchment rod back in. Bring this up, lock that in, and let's go. Speed up here. There goes one. So there's one bushing. Very nice. And slide that back out of the way. Get that bushing out of there. I was going to tidy that up, but that is the bushing. Very fine, very thin, but it should work for what I want. Let's put this over here so I don't lose it. And now let's measure up for the next one. Wind this in. There we go. And then 4mm, which is, oops, sorry, I caught the camera. There. Gosh, it's like bated breath. There's 4mm. Lock that off. Bring in my catchment rod again. Lock that in place. And we'll do it one more time. Speed up slightly. There she blows. 2 little bushings made. There's the second one. God, tiny. They're so small. Can't hold the bloody things. They are so small. But at least I have both of them now. So let's take these over to the bench and have a proper look at them, shall we? There they are. Still need to be de-ragged, but my God, are they tiny. Let me grab the actual casting. So it is in scale, at least, there's that. Now let's see if they're going to be what I'm after. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work out how I want it to, peeps. Because if I... Oh god, these are so hard, I can't hold them with anything. Let me grab my needle nose. See if I can hold them with that. So if I've got to be careful how I grab it because I don't want to crush it. So that's the worst offending one. And if I stack that on there, central, it's going to leave a gap down the side. I can't get this big enough, the outer diameter big enough, while still maintaining enough meat on this to actually hold it. So, as fun as this little project was making these, sadly, for the time being at least, my idea for a fix is not going to work, which is a little annoying, but at least I know now for a fact I've got to think of a different way of doing this, whether or not that be just bite the bullet and buy another casting from our good friends over at PM. So, oh well, at least there's that. At least you've had some content, peeps. I've been able to get out another video for you for in this series, so you don't think I've lost all interest or just died generally. I'm still here, still making videos. Well, that didn't turn out as planned. Kind of the story of my life, that really. That should be that's going to be what's on my gravestone, I think. It's just going to say, you know, Mark Loving. That didn't go as planned. That's just going to be the way it is, I think. I'm going to have another think, see if what I can do with this. I do have a friend who has various aluminium melting / welding equipment. See if he might be able to maybe plug up those holes for me with a bit of either aluminium weld or a bit of TIG or a bit of, or even bronze. I mean, I'd be happy for it to be brazed, filled up with brazing, and then I can remachine it and put it back as it should be. So I think that's going to be the only other way now to salvage this part. So you win some, you lose some. This video was a lot shorter than I intended it to be, and I apologise for that. Hopefully this means though that I can get you another video sooner than the last one. Next one I think I'm going to make is, I'm thinking, if I bring the actual kit out itself, I'm not entirely sure, but I've got a nice lot of bar stock down here in this kit. And there's some rather interesting bits and pieces still to do in this kit. So I'm thinking the next thing I may tackle, because I like doing lathe work and I fancy a little bit of a challenge. I think the next job might just have to be the main spindle itself. Actually make the spindle for the mill. So that would be a nice challenge, that one. So yeah, I'll see how I feel about that one for the next video. But anyway, that's going to be it for this time. Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to watch this video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, make sure you click that subscribe button and then turn on notifications by clicking that little bell symbol as well. That really helps a lot. Thank you again, everyone. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Cheerio.